On esports, we take it to the next level. Our players have the ability to travel, compete, and even participate on the caffeine committee. Check out the Insta to see what's new with Mount Esports today.
At the Mount, things are, well, elevated. And it's not just because we're on a mountain. The experience at a small college like Mount Aloysius is actually personal. The faculty and staff know my goals. It's a level of support you won't find at other colleges. And the Mount backs it up with career-focused partnerships and majors. As soon as I visited, it just felt like home. That's what makes this place different. Makes college elevated. Mount Aloysius College.
We asked 10 Mountie Esports players 10 specific questions, and these are their answers.
Watermelon Ice from Gamer Subs.
Ghost Energy, either the cans or the pre-workout, either work.
So I used to be a Ghost favorite, but now
Too long.
White Monster for sure.
Monster, the Fantasy Red Ruby.
The Mountie GG Gamer Subs that they provide. Taco Bell, absolutely.
McDonald's is so much better.
Taco Bell has to be. I've eaten too much McDonald's since it's right down the street.
McDonald's. I like the Oreo McFlurries.
I'm gonna choose Taco Bell because it gives me less stomach problems than McDonald's does.
McDonald's all the way.
There's levels to this, and Taco Bell is at the top one.
Sheets guy all the way.
I actually don't know what Wawa is, but Sheets.
I gotta say Wawa. I grew up with Wawa, and I just think the food's better.
Sheets is the best thing to grace our planet.
I'd have to go with Sheets. Definitely rough.
Injustice, no J-Naps.
Hydron, probably.
Probably T-Corral.
Either Skippy or T-Corral.
Croc.
Pokemon Red for the Game Boy Color.
Webkins. That was the first video game I've ever played. Webkins. Oh my god.
League of Legends. Sadly, that was the first game. That's one of the only games that I played. I just enjoy it so much.
Mario Kart 7 on the DS.
No bully.
Probably PGE.
Some of the top masks.
Definitely PGE.
Angry Ginge or somebody in that realm, like Speed and stuff, they're pretty funny.
Probably my dorm.
Definitely Birchie.
I think the pond is one of the greatest schools we can buy.
The library, it just got renovated, much nicer, much quieter.
Definitely my room.
Probably the IT area and the library.
Yes, I love snowboarding. I've been snowboarding my whole life.
Are you a snow person?
Not really, no. I don't really like the cold a whole lot.
I prefer summer.
Only for playing Snow Day in Rocket League.
No.
Yeah, I love snow.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm from upstate New York.
I love snow. I think it's so fun.
I think I would play, I don't even know. That's the only game that I play.
Probably competitive TF2.
Probably Rivals, yeah.
I'd probably just play Trackmania.
I think the culture at Smash is insane. I would love to play Smash.
I'd probably play Madden.
Gotta be Mount Aloysius College. You can't beat them.
Mounties, obviously.
Mount Aloysius, of course.
Oh my gosh, this isn't the question. Mountie Esports.
I mean, gotta be the Mounties, right? The culture here is unmatched.
The Mount Aloysius esports program.
Obviously, Mount Aloysius.
You're looking at it.
Gotta be the Mounties Esports.
Cool.
You have more important things in life to think about than your internet. At BreezeLine, we propel life forward with home internet so reliable, you don't have to think about it. With a team that goes above and beyond, fiber-powered speeds up to 1 gig, and 99.9% reliability at any hour, in any room. You won't have to think about your internet again. Go to breezeline.com for internet that propels life forward.
Here at Mountain Esports, we take it to the next level. Our players have the ability to travel, compete, and even participate on the caffeine committee. Check out the Insta to see what's new with Mountain Esports today.
At the Mount, things are, well, elevated. And it's not just because we're on a mountain. The experience at a small college like Mount Aloysius is actually personal. The faculty and staff know my goals. It's a level of support you won't find at other colleges. And the Mount backs it up with career-focused partnerships and majors. As soon as I visited, it just felt like home. That's what makes this place different. Makes college elevated. Mount Aloysius College.
Welcome back, everybody, to another day of some Marvel Rivals action for the PIEA Tournament Series. We have Central Bucks South coming back here against Ferndale in this best-of-3 series. Always starting things off. We're in week 5, so we're starting things off with a domination match. Heaven, and we are looking towards, what's going to happen here as we are nearing the end of the regular season. Next week is the last week, so the next little bit of points is very important for both of these high schools.
That's certainly where we do reach the final stretch within this marathon. Find their way striding through the postseason. We'll see who will inevitably be able to find their marks. Those 1 and 2 seeds, so important to be able to show dominance within the PIEA, as we are going to be getting on into the match sooner rather than later. We look towards these picks and ban phases to take these teams to the next level when it comes to these current game ones. I mean, this is the tone setter, Mott, and this is really where these two teams are going to have to kind of find how they want to approach this game.
Absolutely, and you are seeing, you may be wondering, hey, why is there only 5 on one roster, 6 on the other? Central Bucks South will be playing a 5v6 first, waiting on their 6th player who will be able to connect in that second round. So they might be playing at a disadvantage, but they still have that first ban coming in the way of the Iron Fist, a character who has been really prominent as of late, especially with the introduction of Daredevil, whom you see Snapthorn already hovering over. On the other end of things, Ferndale has opted to ban out Hela and also protect Dr. Strange. So very strong 2 picks, I will say here. So with that being said, it comes back to Central Bucks South's own pick here, and they have a couple of different options. Jeff has been very strong. Rocket Raccoon also strong in that back line. You can always default back over to your Luna Snows, to your Invisible Women's as well. I think talking about strategists, but instead we go over to the Duelist, and we're gonna actually opt to take our own Iron Man for this race. Will it maybe come into fruition for Central Bucks South to continue playing a flyer composition?
We will be seeing that 5v6 as you had mentioned earlier. However, Mott, I'm not sure whether or not this will be as cut and dry as one would expect in such a differential, as Central Bucks South currently within the Penn Conference standing at a strong 4-0 standings. Meanwhile, their opposition Ferndale's had a little bit of a tougher time making their way through the fall season of the 2025 school year, as they are currently standing at a 1-2 scoreline, barely clinching a spot as the number 4 seed within the fall conference. But I mean, we are still going to be seeing them take that opposition down to the depths of our first map, as they take a bit of an advantage to start us off, and this is where they really do have to open this series up exploding in confidence.
Also on top of that, we have the Black Panther ban here. Of course, very much warranted if you know that the other team may have a Black Panther that is a little bit more to deal with than you really want to, right? On that note, we are protecting the Magneto, so Meteor M is online here. You also just have a Vanguard who is so consistent, so strong, and all around a really good Vanguard to play with and into. So I'm very not surprised to see Magneto be protected here from the side of Ferndale High School. Coming in on the opposing end here, the Jeff, as I had predicted, will be protected, and I like to call we call the Animal Crossing backline. You can call it the Zootopia backline. The Jeff and Rocket might actually be the backline of choice from either of these teams. But on that note, Angela, my beautiful warrior, is no longer in the fray, so Astro will have to find somebody else to play here in that Vanguard role, as she is going to be banned out for this round specifically. And you know what? Why not take the other flyer out of the fray? Storm not going to make an appearance either, mitigating that Jeff NATO team up as well.
We are going to be seeing, as the picks coming through, Arteme locking in the Jeff. We know this player certainly has taken a bit of a stride through the PIA, as they've been known for their Overwatch gameplay. I'm sure we both are aware the kind of differences aren't too big in a game like Overwatch compared to Marvel Rivals. So seeing Arteme moving over from that hit scan position that they have been so prevalent on onto a bit of a supporting cast role, we are going to be looking towards their ultimates being that kind of kill factor to be able to grab 5 and maybe even get a little bit of off the edge kill towards Ferndale. Certainly would be rough, but as CB South makes their marks, we look towards this composition, and I want to get your thoughts. Do you think this is a comp that will be able to thrive in a 5v6, or is this more so something that kind of holds steady and is more opting into an idea that will allow you to win long drawn-out fights?
What I'm worried about is, again, numbers-wise, it's not fun to play automatically down 1, right? So automatically, even though this comp is trying to play characters that can play relatively separated from each other, Loki can combine himself, Doctor Strange will be assisted by that Jeff, of course, with that speed boost coming in from Arteme. But Snapthorn can kind of fly around, find health packs, and get early picks with the Gamma Beam as well. Ideally onto your Cloak and Dagger, onto the opposing Jeff, right? But I think the survivability of this Captain America, of this Mr. Fantastic, and even the Bucky, kind of a BP1 in of itself, might be a little bit more right than, or true, that Central Bucks South cannot take. But as I say that, it will actually be Central Bucks South, despite going in at 5v6. They've turned it around in a 5v4, and now everyone else from Ferndale are now going down for the count so quickly.
Arteme working in unison with the Quickster going on through. It's CB South in an already dominant position being held as Ferndale starting to crumble. It leaves CB South with a bit of an aggressive stance, but they have not capped the point yet, so they still do have to get that. So far, wasting this time, just biding their time, playing with their food a little bit as we look towards the Quicksters, still taking an aggressive hand, making that stagger go their way.
100%. And with that being said, you're going to continue to play into the front line here, taking down so many people before they can even walk out of the spawn. They're forcing a lot of staggered fights that they just really can't handle right now. And again, Central South taking it with grace. Ferndale now opting to go back in the spawn room, and they gotta find some way to break through. Gonna be the Thor swap first that comes out from Madek.
They're already being the pillar of the keystone to play behind as Ferndale trying to get aggressive. However, just the poke damage. CB South unconceding. Domination has been the name of the game, and they look towards Snapthorn charging up, looking to possibly get some vitality on their opposition as everyone getting into the heights, keeping it going as it will be Arteme spitting out two. They drop them into the hands of the Quickster, finding one. Arteme gets the second. Shaq and Kobe are on the battlefield as it will be Lehman to fall next. It's a double from Arteme going in. The Quickster can find two of their own. Fireball as well, gonna bring it down as Central Buck South takes a big claim.
Very nicely done as well, and they've already built up pretty much a good 3 ult bank here of the Eye of Agamotto, the impeccable like pulsar cannon, as well as the duplication from the Loki, right? So Blaze has the opportunity to just kind of use that Jeff duplicate here, get another Jeff online. But as I say that, we turn the corner. It's gonna be the portal coming down from Ferndale, and this could be ideally a big one, but the Eye of Agamotto completely shuts down that opportunity from Ferndale to make it to bring it back. And even more so, the Comic Revival was an attempt but did not come to fruition.
Snapthorn with a triple kill, hitting the nail in the coffin on the Ferndale roster. CB South will find this game one in complete succession for the first point of this map. Domination looks to be their strong suit, as despite the player advantage, Central Buck South stay composed for a game win on Hell's Haven.
On the Super Soldier Factory of all places, so we go over to the Frozen Airfield, right? And my biggest gripe about Hell's Heaven and why I don't really like it as much as I like Krakoa, for example, even Royal Palaces to an extent, I'm okay with. I don't like Hell's Heaven because it moves so much. The map completely shifts right under your feet more often than not that you're not really expecting a lot of times. And there are cues, you know, I believe at the 50% or 60% completion rate, the map starts to move around a little bit here. However, Central Buck South, with only 5 players, they are the ones in the lead right now, forcing Ferndale to go to a, well, at the moment, a 5 Vanguard roster here with just Madek on this Rocket Raccoon, using that, of course, BRB machine and the CYA machine only. I'm not sure it's going to have all that much fruition here. The Ferndale roster or characters so far are very self-sufficient to an extent, but we got to see how this works, especially as they are really running out on 5 Vanguards and 1 strategist.
Central Buck South currently maintaining their composure in game one with a undeniable dominant force, but it will be the Strange bringing in Blaze to take a double kill, forcing their opposition into a weak position as the Groot entangled within thorns. It will be Snapthorn to keep the aggression up. Blaze finds a triple, going to be going aggressive as they keep this awake. It's their game to play, it's their game to win as Ferndale High School forced back into the spawns.
And you can only do so much with 5 Vanguards, right? You don't have anyone to consistently shoot down this Iron Man. You don't have someone to consistently check your strategist as well, right? So it's more difficult for Ferndale to continue to play into someone like an Iron Man, even any of the Flyers, in fact. More so, look at this. You see in the Mad Lag, goes right into the 1v5 pretty much by themselves, and then suddenly you're no longer in that Hulk form, you're back in Bruce Banner form, and then you have to back up immediately again. They need at least 2 strategists to make this extra Vanguard line work.
Central Buck South gonna be getting back on into the fray. Ferndale swapping over the Hulk, gonna come into the action. We will be seeing the Venom and Hulk working in unison, possibly to make some kind of extraterrestrial play, but right now it will be Central Buck South, specifically Arteme, having that ultimate piled up, looking to drop it in, but it will be Madek taking one. Arteme shuts him down for the Jeff on Jeff action. Central Buck South takes an aggressive stance as Arteme backing up a little bit, conceding the aggression, still having the ult in hand, looking to get a little bit of long range damage, but Fireball V-Dub going on in, takes the kill. The Dr. Stone Strange down, and now Ferndale going to be back on into a pretty rough spot as this point gets captured.
And funnily enough, during that fight there, Ferndale did flip the point kind of under the noses of Central Bucks South. They will get the It's Jeff, and they will actually be able to get a stagger onto not just Asher, but also onto this Hulk, who's trying to at least find somebody. Skull Ripper, I think, was trying to proc a portal there, and of course, nobody was able to protect their State Doctor Strange, so Snapthorn got the easiest Pulsar Cannon in the world, and on top of that, another stagger onto the Hulk, finally.
Buck South currently in a very, very strong position as we look towards the Magneto getting taken down for their bearings as the Quickster comes into the action. Double kill for the Quickster. Gonna be able to make it a triple. The Thing is the next on the chopping block as Blaze takes them for a walk down Death's Lane. As now 87% has been built up. CB South on the cusp of a victory.
And they're gonna get it in about, what, 5 more percent? That's all they need to full cap the second objective of Hell's Heaven. The It's Jeff comes through, finds just the Hulk, but that's all that you need. No one is able to touch that point. No one is able to go against the 5 forces from Central Bucks South, as Ferndale do go down in the series so far. Down 1, but never the end of it all quite yet. Central Bucks South have considered themselves at match point so far, but things can always change, as we now are not only going to get the 6th player in the lobby here for Central Bucks South, but we are also going over to Convergence.
I mean, not to kind of, be harsh, but in my opinion, Montneva, something that we're going to be looking towards as a possibility is what is the possibility that CB South thought, okay, this game might be a little bit closer than we would have imagined, and so we're going to say, yes, we're going to get our 6th player in at the end of the game, and then once we get them in, then we're going to, we're going to have that in, but we're going to expect this game to take, 10, 15 minutes. That did not happen. That game was a very done and dusted situation, as CB South, despite the player disadvantage, they had a lot of firepower within this roster, and it certainly just seemed to be going their way for the entirety of this this team. But we'll see what they can get done on map number 2, as it will be Ferndale's choice, so they get that home turf advantage.
Yeah, they sure will. And again, going to Convergence, the map pool is limited in just a Central Park, the Hall of the Jaleo, or the Symbiotic Surface. So the new map, the Heart of Heaven, is not available in the map pool quite yet. I hope it's available for playoffs in just a couple of weeks, though, because it's a very pretty map. Very, very nice to play on. Especially you have a good Iron Fist, you have a good Daredevil as well. Very fun map to play on. But either way, Ferndale, as you mentioned, they have the pick here. They have the opportunity to go wherever they want, really, for this Convergence map. And I think with the playstyle they're going for, which is kind of heavy on shields, heavy on this Hulk as well, albeit they also played every Vanguard just now in the last round, we could definitely see them maybe want to go over to a Symbiotic Surface, maybe even the Hall of the Jalea. I'm not entirely confident that going to the Central Park map here would be beneficial, because you're gonna likely face back into that Iron Man, you're gonna face back into a Spider-Man, you're gonna face into those spam kind of characters that do very well on that nice long first point of Central Park. So I think Ferndale maybe have the work cut out for them if they go to any of the other 2 I had mentioned.
And we are going to be seeing CB South possibly getting that 6th player into this series. So whether or not they're going to be subbing somebody out, whether or not they keep this roster the same, we will have to wait and see. Obviously, though, the just general firepower this team possesses, we've seen the CB South roster in each and every esport, whether it's Marvel Rivals, Valorant, Overwatch, Fortnite, or their coveted Valorant team. Each and every one has been extremely dominant. We see these players starting to mesh on the Marvel Rivals team. Obviously, you look towards Arteme, somebody who has been top 500 in Valorant. You look towards the Quickster, somebody who's been top 500 in Overwatch. Both these players making their adaptations on different esports into Marvel Rivals. This is why I love Marvel Rivals so much, Montneva, because it allows for so much just kind of creativity. You take things you've learned from other esports, you take the kind of hit scan potential to be able to find that early damage with those great snipes to the head, and then you take the kind of positioning you need to learn as a tank player. These are the adaptations, and Marvel Rivals just does it perfectly. So it certainly seems as if the just kind of general talent that's flourishing within this roster is going to be able to carry them for a lot of wins within this PIEA season.
I mean, literally in our Marvel Rivals Ignite, series that just happened in Atlanta at DreamHack Atlanta, it was comprised of old Overwatch pros, and there's a reason, as you mentioned, it carries over the same skill set, the same game sense, albeit with a little bit of differential, of course, character role and everything like that, maps, of course, but it's all carried over. So if you have those fundamentals already built into your system from playing Valorant, playing Overwatch, even playing your other shooters like Call of Duty, for example, or Halo, things like that, or R6, they all carry over a little bit in each other. So it's really, really nice to see, you know, people that are so talented in one game and still are able to, you know, replicate that talent in another. And just as we're seeing here in Marvel Rivals, but we do have our second game coming up. We are going to go into the ban phase momentarily. And again, we're also still down one, so we are going to continue to have Central Bucks South come in a disadvantage, blank statement, disadvantage in a 5v6, but they look pretty fine doing it, I can't lie, and they might even have fun, you know, with this little challenge at the helm, and they're all running Iron Man, and we are going to Symbiotic Surface.
Honestly, I gotta respect it. I really do. I can't lie. I think that this is, it's funny enough, and yeah, funny is good. On the opposite side, Ferndale gonna have the Groot on the line. Iron Man does seem to be in play as well. They have that Jeff to kind of bring it back from the last game, keeping that in the pocket. We will be seeing, funny enough, honestly, I don't know how I feel about the dueling potential that you do get from the Iron Fist taken off the line. I wouldn't have expected it from Central Bucks South, but I don't hate it. You would imagine that with how kind of like loosened they're gonna have to be playing without that sixth man, it does kind of give Ferndale a little bit of an advantage to pick up an Iron Fist, as if you can isolate a target, it certainly will provide value, but without that possibility, who knows what they're gonna have to ban out next.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, and I feel like this is also a missed opportunity to not ban out Iron Man early, right? I would have really wished that we had seen that come into fruition, because it doesn't really seem like Ferndale are all too keen on playing a hit scan like Hela, for example, which we had seen was protected earlier from Ferndale, but I digress. But with that being said, you know, it's a little bit interesting to me. So that's why if Central Bucks South were able to use their first pick on Iron Man, they're gonna also use the ban onto the Hela. And again, it's just to make sure this Iron Man from Snapthorn just gets the utmost value, the utmost kills as possible, and uptime. With that being said, the Bucky also banned out from Ferndale. Good reason. Kraken's impact extremely, extremely strong, especially into Jeff, with whom they want to play here. So that's where you're also seeing the Jeff protection. So Central Bucks South, there's three picks and bans left. Let's see where they go.
We are going to be seeing the final picks coming on through as Central Bucks South. What else could they possibly want to keep away? But it will not, it will not be something that they have hovered. I wanna say why. I mean, who knows? But Ferndale, they are going to have that final ban, so we'll see what they do inevitably go for. And yeah, I don't know. What do you kind of expect to see from Central Bucks South?
Well, Central Bucks South decide to the last ban is going to be that Penny Parker. Very good. You don't want that Penny Parker to set up on that first point with Spider Mines and Nest everywhere with that Rocket team up, right? Very smart, very proactive, I would say. Ferndale are kind of looking down the barrel right now as they are down one. They're gonna opt to actually ban out the Black Widow, a character again you don't really see that often, but she has gotten a good amount of adjustments, some buffs, and as well to her kit. So why not take it away from anyone who is a sharpshooter in their own right? Instead, I'm the Mad Lad has gone over to the Punisher here, another character that has been very prominent and also will be the good check against Snapthorn's Iron Man. Finally, something that can maybe put some pressure onto the duelist in that regard. Otherwise, Ferndale is running a relatively solid defense composition for Symbiotic Surface, for all things considered. Central Bucks South, in that spawn room, things can always change up, but they are looking at a pretty damage-heavy comp here, maybe without a Vanguard, as we're seeing the quickest kind of figure out where we want to go.
We are going to be seeing the Jeff following on Maddock, as these two, I mean, they're just going to have that slow walk to the point, and Central Bucks South starting on, we'll see what they can find, as this, you'd imagine that when in the 5v6, despite having a lot of firepower in the arsenal, not every fight will be won. And if Ferndale can find staggers, that could leave them in a good spot. What they need to do is die as a team or live as a team. If you allow one player to get staggered, you'll be putting CB South in a 5v5, giving them that equalizer they're desperately looking for. But now Central Bucks South going on in aggressively to start us off on map number 2.
And Snapthorn's gonna be the first one to take some blood here, up against, you know, what you would consider to be the Iron Man counter of the Punisher. That Gamma Beam will be able to take down Astro while trying to evade the character, and both Flyers taken down almost single-handedly again by this Iron Man. Very much a big problem for Ferndale to take care of, and they are only relying on the Groot to stall a tiny bit, but you can only do so much without the rest of your team there to help sustain. Oh, we forgot about the Black Panther for a second there, but taken down easily. They're gonna get all 3 points here, Cherry. So at this point, Central Bucks South are gonna look really good time-wise.
Certainly looking as if this roster is everything they could possibly have asked for. 5 minutes 30 on the clock as they already start their domination. The quick stir going in once more. Arteme following up. It will be Fireball, and Arteme working hand and hand, taking this unison, bringing the opposition to a halt as they keep this point moving.
What's unfortunate here, Cherry, is that Ferndale never really had the opportunity to set up on these high grounds. That makes the second point so difficult to work against if you're attacking, usually, right? So when they weren't unable to position correctly and stay in that positioning, Central Bucks South were just walking all over them. And more so, they're still walking on top of them. We're expecting, of course, Blaze on the objective, kind of chilling. Yeah, I get you. Chilling on the card, making sure it's moving, it's progressing through the second point of Symbiotic Surface. But Ferndale are, once again, not able to position themselves. They can't even find a full reset whatsoever without somebody always going down first. Like that.
Seeing Blaze picking up the first as the Mad Lad takes the early aggression, forcing a 5v5. Now Central Bucks South can have that equalized position, and with their opposition heading into these slow, steady corridors without much room to work with, Central Bucks South seems to have this point on total lockdown to secure the next point.
They should on paper, and there it is. The cap does come into fruition here for Central Bucks South. We do see, of course, the 5-minute and 40-second time bank given to these guys, and again, losing out on your Hawkeye, as we did see I'm the Mad Lad trying to find something that would work on paper, but it's just not really, we're not passing the test quite yet. There still needs some troubleshooting in that regard for Ferndale, but they have 3 ultimates, 4 ultimates that they should use here. They just need to get that reset.
South, 5 ults in hand. Certainly the firepower has been collected as they look to take a very dominant map number 2 to close out this series. The round diff has been good for them so far this season, and it seems to be getting even better. As we look towards Fireball, going in, gonna be good. Taking the storm, pulling everyone in. A double kill, looking to make it a triple, as it will be Central Bucks South hitting the brakes on Ferndale.
100%. Friendly Prison does get used by Mad Deck, but it might be a little bit too late here. It doesn't really look like it got any value. Blaze is in the middle of the It's Jeff at the moment, looking to find that spawn area. Mad Lad finds a pick here, thankfully, but it's a little bit too late. The Pulsar Cannon actually does get negated by the shield. Whoa! Whoa! What was that meter M there? Quick hit! Just up in the air, just free balls it onto the Iron Man. Yeah, you're crazy. They have gone for almost a full cap here. Slight stagger, slight contesting, but not for very long here, Cherry. It's a full cap with a 4 minutes and 12 seconds. 12 seconds extra than they had started with.
They're certainly on a little bit of a bad situation, as they are going to be swapping sides, needing to play this offense perfectly if they want to be able to take this game back onto their hands. Astro at the end looking to make that go into their favor. They were barely clinging on. That's something you look towards Ferndale. They have been good. We've seen signs of life from them. It's been shown, but unfortunately, when it comes down to it, they're just not playing in unison, and that kind of combination plays that they look towards, making those chemical reactions and finding value off of those connections that they try to get onto their opposition, it just hasn't been looking as straightforward as CB South would have liked. Certainly, the team fights have been going their way, but Ferndale, they need to be able to bring it back, and we know they can. We've seen it from them in previous series. We've seen the iterations that this roster's come up with, and if they can try and get that value, it could be their game to win.
So interestingly enough, the Central Bucks South has opted to not play Vanguards here whatsoever on the defense phase. They're going for a triple, in fact, sorry, not triple, quadruple strategist backline here. The Atom for that soul bond, and of course the cover revival. You have It's Jeff from Blaze. You have Luna Snow with, of course, Fabled Worlds. having been nerfed, I believe, from 12 seconds to only 10 seconds at this moment for her ultimate, but it's still relatively strong. Fire also coming on the Ultron, a character that had just gotten a couple of nerfs to his own kit to at least mitigate exactly what we're playing here. The freeze comes into fruition onto the newly found Daredevil from the skull, and it's the collapse and self-healing that allows the quickest one to actually be able to stay alive. And more so, we're on the flank on this Lunar Snow, finding kills either way. Good freeze, good elimination, and it's a 4K for the Lunar Snow main.
Unfortunately, the Quickster swapping off of that tanky character position, instead opting in for a little bit more of that assassination type. And now as Central Buck South playing this defense all but perfectly, we look towards the aggression as it will be Ferndale making a good play. The Skull Ripper trying to rip open space. Unfortunately, just going to be a little bit too light on that taking as they couldn't secure the kill. But it will be still Ferndale to try and get the follow-up. Matic down, unfortunately, barely cusping a kill. It will be Blaze to keep up the aggression. Arteme as well coming on out as Ferndale barely scraping out a loss.
Just barely doing so as well, but they're getting completely full health by pretty much this extremely stabilizing comp, right? All they're doing is keeping the icicle on this Iron Man. They're keeping the Iron Man in the radius of the Ultron. They're leaving bubbles down so Snapthorn can go down and grab a little bit of healing output, right? So that's what you're seeing Ferndale swap over. They have the Rocket Raccoon now, so Bearded Machine is alive and well at the very least. So the res could come to fruition into play at some point for Ferndale, but these one-shots from the Hawkeye are not coming to fruition. We're not getting the same value from our own Iron Man. So what can we do? I'm saying maybe a Vanguard will help a little bit here. Maybe a Strange or something like that.
Are going to be seeing Snapthorn pulling back into the action as Ferndale trying to come back on out as they will have the respawns coming in. Team fight gonna be here, but I'm the Mad Lad unfortunately will be collapsing as now Ferndale forced into a 5v5 once more. Matic getting taken off a line. Arteme gonna be able to secure the kill. We look towards the heights as Ferndale needing to steal away a victory, and it will be good as it's gonna be the Skull Ripper almost securing a kill on the Iron Man, but Lehman actually able to do it. Blaze gets taken off the line. Ferndale showing signs of life, but how will they follow up? Unfortunately, CB South, despite losing a couple players, will inevitably take their demise.
Well, they got one tick on here. They kind of forgot about Lemon on the Black Panther in the back line. Funnily enough, right? So there's something there, and they have a minute left to get the other two ticks. So the objective has gotten a lot easier for Ferndale here. And Central Buck South have 3 ultimates, 3 very long-standing ultimates. I can do so much work here. The Revival, the Fabled Worlds, and of course that Pulsar Cannon, both of which are all 3 of which definitely can put the stop to a lot of Ferndale's tracks here. And they're doing it so again, just making sure that these guys are not able to walk freely into this territory.
Seeing final fight territory coming on in. 40 seconds remain. Could be this first kill coming in. Double kill as Snapthorn pulling down the Skull Ripper as well as Matic. Unfortunately, Ferndale closing out another loss. Lehman, one of the better players we've seen tonight, unfortunately going to be collapsing. The keystone to play behind for Ferndale going to be down for the count as now they need to make the comeback, but the Skull Ripper falls and barely Ferndale unable to take that first tick they were able to get and bring it to a second, as 15 seconds are all they have remaining. But CB South putting a stranglehold over this game as they leverage their aggression and they take this game number 2 for a 2-0 series as they go up in the standings 5-0 for an undefeated season.
Absolutely fantastic work from the Central Buck South. I mean, also doing it in a 5v6 the entire time. Very commendable. Really showcases their mechanical, I guess, superiority to an extent against Ferndale. Very well done from these guys. And I will say, this is looking so good in their records, as you mentioned. The Quickster, I keep saying quickest one. The Quickster does get that MVP for good reason. 45 eliminations and no deaths. On top of that, getting 23 of the final hits, according to the MVP screen here, or the stat screen here, which is very impressive. Only the humble 950 healing done between 2 rounds. Love to see that. But otherwise, very well done. Good effort from Ferndale for sure. But today, Central Buck South were able to get that victory and take it all the way through.
CB South, a dominant force. The Titans go up in the 2-0. for a good standing for sure, despite having a little bit of a lackluster start, as we did see them forgetting to cap the point at the start of map number 1. They just had so much firepower within this arsenal to be able to keep the game in their favor, not conceding anything. And Ferndale, you might say, oh, it was dominant, but that just goes to show this team, they were respected. Central Buck South, they knew they had to play their all tonight, and they did exactly that. They gave nothing over for free, as Ferndale, they're a powerful opponent, as they are going to be bringing themselves down to the 1-3 within the standings, but certainly they still have opportunities to be able to keep themselves within the playoffs, as now they will be tied for the 4 seed within the Colonial Division. Penn Trafford will await for seeing who clinches that number 4 spot, but it is still going to be their chances available to be able to get to a playoff spot.
100%. And on top of that, we do not have just that one game, everybody. We have one more game coming at you in just about 10 minutes on the dot. We have South Fayette coming up against Penn Trafford High School coming up here at 4 o'clock Eastern. So again, in 10 minutes. So we're going to go to a very quick break, get our team situated and ready to go. And we'll see you guys on the other end for that second series. We'll be right back.
Hey, what the hell? Why you hanging on the roof all by yourself? I have an open invitation, but you're telling me go get lost. I don't wanna see your face. Yeah, what the hell? So why don't we stay out till the morning light? Cause 2 wrongs can make a right. We're just doing what we're feeling right now. Some Chardonnay, we camp in the parking lot. Leave traces of plastic cups. We're just doing what we're feeling right now. So what the hell? Why you hanging on the rooftop by yourself? Always waiting for the one, but I got news for you. I'm the best that you can get, so I day. These ethanol fuels won't make me sober. One flame to take the pain away. I caught you lighting matches in the back room. Haters look mad when they pass you. Let's talk about round when it's past due. Reach a glass, do no. You don't gotta fight alone. Alone. You don't gotta fight alone. Don't be so personal. Take me out of the I'm going under. Take me out of the I'm going under. All we love, all we done is just sit around wasting our time. Take me out of the rut. I'm going under. Wasting our time. I'm going under. Everyone's seen death in their dreams, but we still wake up and go to sleep. Everyone's seen death in their dreams, but we still wake up from our sleep. I'll be home soon. You don't gotta fight alone. You don't gotta fight alone. You don't gotta fight alone. Don't be so personal. Take me out of the I'm going under. Take me out of the I'm going under. Who do you rely on now? I know the worst. I know the worst. Who can you call on now? I know the worst. I know the worst. But I never really knew that it was over till the quiet and the echoes became colder. And I never really knew that it was over till the quiet and the echoes became colder. wants to leave, but it won't keep me from this heart attack. And I'll try to carry on again, but I never really knew that it was over. Shaking underneath, trying to take me alive. Get ready for the fallout. Can't stop me now. I got no rival. I'ma find my way through the blood and pain game of survival. Any time or place, watch 'em run away. I got none. I'll be standing. Never gonna take my throne. I got no rival. Watch 'em run away. I got no, I got no rival. No rival. No rival. Tell me now, what you gon' do? We can do this face to face. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. But you were calling me a liar, 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 liar. Yeah, I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down to now and now and now and now and never. I was putting in the I'm sick of fighting the things that you said. I don't wanna burn all our bridges ahead. I'm tired of going to bed when you left me on red just to turn up the noise in my head. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. You were calling me a liar, 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 liar. I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down to now and now and now and now and never. I was putting in the putting in the
And welcome back, everybody, to another series for you guys. Still more rivals, still a best of three, first to 2 points on the board. Here we have Penn Trafford coming up against South Fayette. And it's going to be another fun and exciting one for you guys today. Once again, we're in week 5 of the regular season for PIEA, so that means that we're going to be starting things off on Hell's Heaven, that domination map we had just seen previously, and we saw it get completed in a 2-0 fashion. So hopefully we see all 3 rounds come into fruition, and maybe even all 3 game types that are available to our teams today. Cherry, I'm as excited as you are to see exactly what can be brought to the table here for between Penn Trafford and, of course, South Fayette.
Last game, a little bit more on the dominant side. This one we'd expect to be a little bit more tossy-turny, as it will be South Fayette coming into the Colonel Division. 1-2 record. Their opposition, Penn Trafford, 1-3. Looking to maintain dominance. South Fayette trying to equalize their score record. Penn Trafford trying to clinch a playoff spot as 1-4. Would only leave you one more week in order to be able to find that comeback. However, it certainly is going to be up to these bans and pick phases to see what these two teams do have in store for us tonight.
100%. And again, very similar to our previous series, we will have a starting of a 5-man roster here for Penn Trafford. Hopefully the 6 will come in a little bit here, hopefully into the next map. But South Fayette means that they know they have an advantage here. They know they have at least a numerical advantage of 6 players to play with. And they also have the Bucky ban going off the bat here alongside that Moon Knight protection. So that nice area of effect that Punkbot is ideally going to be taking with the Hannah Concho, of course, with the Aunts as well. Should be very, very... I guess trifling to Penn Trafford to an extent. On that note, though, we have the Starler protection, which I'm very excited to see how Jake is going to be using that character, as he is starting to really become popular again in the duelist line.
We look towards Penn Trafford. Early bans coming out. Unfortunately, they will have to be playing that 5v6. So we saw it last game. We'll see it this game as well. Where playing catch-up is going to be a necessity for this team down. But we know that when you are playing with that 5v6, it does not mean everything. We saw it before, and see whether or not it will come out as again. As now we are just going to be seeing the Jeff picked up, forcing it in. So certainly one of the more interesting characters as the ultimate. Not very conventional tool as it has been in the past. Very kind of crazy if you can get a lot of impact with it.
I have to agree with you. That is going to be a big one, especially the Wolverine also coming in as a protection as well from South Fayette, now having their next ban. Jeff has been a very strong pick as of late. They changed his ultimate a little bit here to have, or at least leave behind a big healing pool while Jeff, you know, is eating everyone up and throwing them off the map, of course. And that's kind of why you're seeing Jeff become so much more of a common pick here for a lot of these teams, whether it's in high school, whether it's in college, whether it's in the pro leagues. He's becoming a very real target, a very real character. Loki also banned out from South Fayette. Very good reason. You don't really want the opportunity to use multiple strategist ultimates at one after another, especially with the duplicate online. And also Loki in general, always a very strong strategist to play into or as, excuse me. Other than that, the Phoenix comes in as the last ban of the phase, and now we start locking in some of our rosters.
We are going to be seeing the roster lock coming on in as the confirmation will be spotted, as both teams are going to be mirroring that Jeff into the action. Besides that, it does seem to be filled with different picks, except the Ultron, which will be spotted out for Lalal at the end. So lots of similar picks in terms of the Jeff and Ultron. Besides that, though, differences on each side.
What I'm worried about here is, I mean, to be fair, we still have 25 seconds to go until the doors unlock and teams start rushing to the objective. But I'm worried about this Ultron and Jeff backline from Penn Trafford, but only because the healing output has been substantially taken away from Ultron. Not only doing, I believe, like 5 less than previous with his drone, and even the shields having been nerfed slightly in that sense. So the healing output is not going to be as apparent here for Penn Trafford as it will be for South Fayette, who do have the Luna Snow, who do have that Adam Warlock. And mind you, that team up also with the Luna Snow, getting that lifesteal in those 1v1s, so she will be able to live a lot longer against your Psylocks and your older Star-Lords. Oh!
Already we look towards South Fayette, forcing that 5v6 to turn into a 4v6 as Ben Trafford on the back foot, looking to try and get out without repercussions. It will be South Fayette hitting the jump button. W key gets pressed as they keep up the aggression. South Fayette forcing Penn Trafford to back down, conceding this first fight.
Again, I mean, that Jeff, I mean, not even Jeff, but just getting that first opening pick for South Fayette was really what we needed here. You're ready to start things off at a 5v6, and what makes it worse is a 4v6 any day of the week. And unfortunately, Penn Trafford just kind of have to find a way to mitigate this Moon Knight's pressure, because you want to make sure that these Onks are not getting free value. As you can see, Blackout trying to keep the team alive using not only the drone, but also that shift in order to make sure that we have our teams alive with the adaptive shields. But it's not going to work for very long, as not Banner goes right into the Star-Lord, forcing that soul bond. So we're going to walk in with all this aggression and another couple of picks here for the attackers.
South Fayette gonna have the percentage locking in. Damage gets applied. It will be Pinkbot to take the kill. Punkbot gets another. As South Fayette keeping up the aggression, 40% will be taken as they want to go for more. Punkbot tracing their opposition's bodies. It will be the hammer striking down onto Jake, who gets offline. It leaves South Fayette with even more percentage as they gain up to 50.
And now even going further than 50%, we also have the Hand of Khonshu. Not only that, but also got them their online here for South Fayette, whereas Penn Trafford are struggling to walk out of the spawn room cohesively, right? It's going to be so much free value of these Onks just getting these area of effects onto the opposition in their own spawn area. Not Banner also taking care of the Psylocke, and right in the back line, we're not even going to be able to scout out this Moon Knight. We go in for the Onk, get a kill, and the Hand of Khonshu is still online, but Chaotic needs to back out.
We will be seeing the thing taken offline as Penn Trafford HP drops. Players drop as the spawn camp seems to be inevitable. Smashing up, we will look towards Stainton's taking a bit of an egg-gandering over towards their opposition. Poke damage applied, but it will be Penn Trafford coming out with a kill on their hand. Patrick going to be able to shut down Destructor. Lovely Patrick, however, getting taken down as Banner taking a kill. As now it will be game 1. Hell's Haven taken over as the heaven is there for the South Fayette roster. We go over to the Super Soldier Factory for game number 2.
We sure will. And then again, it comes down to the fact that Hell's Heaven is one of those maps that you can, in fact, just kind of get spawn hell that we saw previously in our previous series. And we might see the same thing coming to fruition once again. But Penn Trafford at least trying to get some swaps here. They're actually going to be foregoing a Vanguard for now. Going to be seeing Chaoticness go over to the Scarlet Witch. Also seeing State Tents go over to the Luna Snow. So getting off of that duelist line, right? Patrick decides, you know what, we need at least one Vanguard. We need someone to go in there and get active. It's going to be the Hulk coming out from them first now, but we'll see how that fares in the next 10 seconds if we're going to stick to it. South Fayette, though, they are not stopping. They have everything they need. Maybe the Wolverine comes out from SAR, but otherwise, they are very happy with the Hand of Khonshu and the God Thunder still being online here for this first fight.
Looking at as Penn Trafford coming on in. Changes come in as they try and make adaptations necessary, so you gotta give them credit where credit is due. Swapping up the composition, trying to get a little bit of a change, going to get a bit different pace on the action. The tempo must change, but Punkbot siphoning off their opposition. Immense power coming through as they don't stop just yet. Punkbot taking another, as not Banner going to be working as well, taking off a line. Their opposition is now looking for this next player to dissipate as South Fayette about to keep this game on a stranglehold once more by the looks of it.
And this small little angle that sideline that we're seeing these guys spam into is so strong at the same time. And again, there really hasn't been a big response to Punkbot's Moon Knight whatsoever. There's a jump in coming in from the Hulk, but I mean, Patrick has to use the game of shield here, and once that goes down, that's it. You know, Statens has to be, unfortunately, a victim of the Ankh of the day. We're going for the flank on the Moon Knight, forcing the D-Mac, I don't say D-Mac, that's not the right word, but you know, the D-Mac of the Hulk here, and allowing, again, these guys to really walk into that spawn area, forcing these guys to not be able to walk out comfortably.
Trafford on the back foot once more, trying to get out as they do apply a little bit of damage. South Fayette battle was a player possibly, but it will be Jake to fall down first. Going in, will be down as it is Patrick to take their drop as Punkbot takes them down for action goes in, siphoning, and is going as Penn Trafford. Back foot is only a light way to say it, trying to get out of their spawn, but South Fayette not conceding anything.
Not quite yet, and again, this Ankh on this left angle, on this flank at all times is just a problem. But finally, Chaoticness on the Scarlet Witch does find at least one of the Moon Knight, comes in with the Reality Shift and Reality Erasure, and takes down the Wolverine. So we're suddenly in a 4v4. The work has not been completed quite yet. There's a lot of picks back and forth. We have the God of Legend being extended from Jake, and it's going to be enough at least to put some pressure, at least to give Chaoticness the opportunity to get even more picks for the team here. The touch does come through. We have 10% left for South Fayette to bring this back in their favor, to bring this back to a 2-0 win, but it comes down to how we use these next couple ultimates.
Looking for this game to go the way of South Fayette, but it's last fight territory. Penn Trafford backs against the walls. They must take this game win, but as the time ticks down, it dissipates away. Penn Trafford gonna fall down to the ground as Punkbot hits the nail in the coffin. And now South Fayette with a 2-0 win. Penn Trafford gonna be going to an undertaking, having to create a reverse sweep in order to bring this game back to an equalizer.
I don't care what anyone says. That Luna Snow was on the point. That Luna Snow was... The toes were on the corner of the point, and there's just no way that didn't count as a touch. But I digress. South Fayette takes the win here on the first map, giving themselves a nice boost up to match point in the first to two best of 3 series we have for us today. Again, this is our last series of the day for PIEA, but still going to be a fun one, and hopefully Penn Trafford can get their 6th player in soon enough. However, we gotta find a answer to this Moon Knight, whether it's banning him out, whether it's just mirroring the character, whether it's doing your, just find someone to mark that character at all times, because these flanks that we were able to get so consistently with the Moon Knight was a little bit ridiculous, and needs to be addressed. Someone has to be on that scout. Someone has to be looking for that Moon Knight at all times. If it's too quiet, where's the Moon Knight today? Is he on the left? Is he on the right? He's definitely there. He's looking for those onks, and there has to be more consistent shutdowns of the character.
Looking like South Fayette with the 1-player advantage. Penn Trafford so far seeming as if that 6th player will not be invested. So right now it definitely looks as if South Fayette is going to be able to take home this series. But whether or not Penn Trafford comes back, takes this game back in their favor, that's still TBD. We could see this go back their way, but it really is just for time to tell.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of time to tell, we have to go over to Convergence. We have to start things off with on a back foot here for Penn Trafford. They need to find somewhere to go that will work out favorably for themselves, whether it's Hall of the Jolly, whether it's Central Park, which again, I don't think is going to work that well because this Moon Knight has already been a big problem. And Moon Knight is, in general, very strong on a map like Central Park. With that being said, I think a symbiotic surface might also be warranted, but I wouldn't be surprised again if we do see these guys decide, you know what, I think we might have to go to the Hall of the Jalia. I think we have to kind of just find something that's a little more open and not so enclosed.
Aggressive stance, get taken. As game number 2 should be on the card sooner rather than later. Both these teams have been able to show dominance, and it really is just going to come down to, will Penn Trafford be able to open up these fights with dominance like what we've seen from them in previous iterations of this roster? We especially are going to be looking towards some of these more aggressive angle-taking characters to be able to find that damage, because as we kind of remembered towards the start, it was South Fayette just picking off their opposition one at a time, taking them like flies as they swatted them away. And now that Penn Trafford is on the back foot, they really do have to make some kind of adaptation to come back into this game. And the question will be, will South Fayette take it sitting, or are they going to go out with a blaze of glory?
Well, they're going to try to take it over on symbiotic surface. Clintar coming in our way here. And again, it comes down to if you want to defend or attack first. Again, defending, we only have 5 players. Not exactly the most fun thing in the world. We saw it get completed and done earlier today by the Central Bucks South. But, I mean, not everyone is going to have that kind of same game plan of running quadruple strategies just for an Iron Man, right? And 9 times out of 10, it shouldn't work, right? That being said, Penn Trafford, they want to go Clintar. Why not go Clintar? We're going to have that initial control phase, like the initial dominance phase, where you have to unlock the objective, and then you have to, of course, get right through the rest of the map here. And starting things off with a bang is going to be South Fayette coming in with the Bucky ban, and then Penn Trafford realizing we need to take care of the Moon Knight, which I do agree with, as this is also a map that can be relatively fruitful for Moon Knight, especially going from first to second point. Third point, he loses a little bit of his value. There we go. But still, very good ban here. Also going to keep chaoticness on that Starly Witch, and I think that's probably going to be the saving grace here for Penn Trafford, at least a little bit.
We are just going to be seeing a great start as South Fayette, they've been on the front foot. Unfortunately, Penn Trafford still not going to have that 6th man available. So right now, we just see the compositions being laid out. The ideas get put on the table. Both teams looking to start taking aggression, but if I'm Penn Trafford, I do look to possibly ban out that Moon Knight, as that was one of the biggest thorns in their side last game for sure.
Yeah, it's banned. They had to ban it first, of course, here, but we also see the Luna Snow ban coming subsequently from Penn Trafford here, which you can see, South Fayette, they're the strategist pool here starting to dwindle a tiny bit. No Luna Snow, kind of forcing over to maybe a Invisible Woman, maybe a Cloak and Dagger as well, maybe a Jeff or a Rocket. That being said, we are seeing the Ultron protection and the Cloak and Dagger protection, so we kind of are seeing a little bit of a glimpse into what each team wants to play, at least in their back line of all things. With that being said, I also want to touch on the Punisher ban as well. Very strong ban. You don't really want to deal with the Final Judgment. Very much understandable. It's very strong ultimate, especially when you're able to couple it with some sort of damage boost, like maybe a Luna Snow ultimate, maybe like a Mantis, something like that. On the last note, though, Iron Man no longer in the fray. Neither is the Atom Warlock.
We're seeing the character selection. The Storm gets taken on for Penn Trafford. We are going to be looking at some of these opposite characters, and actually the Daredevil does get locked. So one of the newer characters into the game we'll see what this iteration to the roster will bring, as South Fayette will be starting on the attack. So how they're going to try and play this, it's a TBD. We'll have to wait and see, but we are just going to get right on into the action.
I mean, if Satins wants to play this Daredevil, which I think we saw them kind of hover over it, but we decided to go over to Venom instead. And Penn Trafford once again trying to luck on that Jeff and that Ultron backline. The healing output not gonna be spectacular, but it'll be there. And at least with Blackout on that Ultron, you'll have some extra damage output against South Fayette that you probably need, especially when you're about to face a Storm. You're about to face a Star-Lord. So a very flyer-heavy composition we're seeing from the attackers here, while we have a Vanguard line of just a Venom. So it comes down to that mirror match between Satnitz and the Personers. Other than that, Cloak and Dagger, not going to be surprised to see her come out in the fray, as well as the Rocket Raccoon. Beaver Machine is going to be the name of the game to make sure that these guys stay ahead in the fray.
Yeah, we get straight on in as the point does activate. South Fayette playing on this attacking side. Once more, Penn Trafford looking to control the tempo. However, the aggression from Blackout will be instantly capitalized upon. Going to be South Fayette pushing into the fray as they instantaneously black their opponents out, taking an aggressive stance onto the point. Another kill goes in the favor of Penn Trafford to show signs of life, but instantaneous with the Rocket Raccoon, bringing their teammate back into the action. Jake taking a little bit of action to fall. It will be Banner as well, shutting down the opposing Daredevil for a great start. Penn Trafford shambles are all that's left.
Very well done here from South Fayette. I mean, able to really, I guess, hone in on that weakness of Ultron. Very slow flyer, especially post using that accelerated form, right? You don't really fly that fast, and then you're easy to be tracked down by that Star-Lord that we were talking about earlier from South Fayette. And on top of that, I think we're seeing a little bit of the same song and dance we had previously in our previous series, where Penn Trafford, coming back from the spawn room, didn't really have a chance to set up on the second point, which is, again, so much about angle pressure, so much about those sight lines, and they're just pushing all the way up and making sure they're getting a lot of late staggers, forcing Penn Trafford to stay in these 4v6s that they don't want to play anyway.
Penn Trafford going to be trying to hold this point, stem the bleeding, but Penn Trafford not looking to give any of that away. The aggressive position is seen, spotting out this mold. It will be the Personers to get in heavily. The HP just continues to keep rising as Penn Trafford stands like an iron wall, unable to be taken down. First kill going to go out on the way of South Fayette as they keep it up. Ults come in. Double kill from Punkbot on the Storm, taking this tornado, wishing everybody away. The triple kill seen, looking to make it a quadra, as they are almost on the cusp of doing it, but right now the HP goes their way. Punkbot takes down the opposition.
Very well done again from South Fayette, really pushing in with that Jeff Nado. And you're going to layer it with, of course, the Gothic Legend. They're going to look for this Ultron, shutting down the Bridge of Ultron coming in from Penn Trafford. That was going to be at least something to work towards, but I mean, the shutdown from Laugh LOL was very, very strong, very, very well done. And with almost 5.5 minutes here, they're already moving through the third point of Clintar very briskly here. We do have to work against the Reality Erasure coming from Chaos. Does find the shutdown onto Laugh LOL, but we're still fighting in a 5v5, so you gotta do all that work once again to find some sort of advantage. And the Fist of the Abyss, with that damage reduction, or healing reduction, will be a big boon to Penn Trafford.
Trafford not going to have much to do, as we saw the CB South roster have a strong start on their side, trying to go for their attacking game last time, but this time 4 minutes and 50 seconds, 4:46 to be exact, a complete domination from South Fayette, putting up a masterclass performance without any faltering. They are just going to be able to be this attacking team to really make the clock go their way.
They ended with almost a minute extra than what they started with. 4 minutes is what you start with on the attack, and then, I mean, they had 4 minutes and 46 seconds. That's very impressive from South Fayette. And again, unfortunately, Penn Trafford were unable to proc that reality erasure from Chaoticness from the Scarlet Witch, which I think would have been at least something to put South Fayette a little bit, you know, shaking their boots a little bit, but wasn't able to get procs whatsoever. Penn Trafford now in the attack phase, now on the hot seat. They need to get all 3 points of Clintar to get even a chance at overtime rounds, and it's already a big ask to do that on Clintar specifically, because you either see the first or all 3 points of this map, and there's really no in between more often than not. South Fayette looks like they are not really swapping off of their composition, maybe having Banner on the Jeffs for that triple strategist role. So again, relying on just one Vanguard and just one and two duelists will work here, and they're all the way in their spawn room saying hello. But Penn Trafford now having the Wolverine instead from Patrick. This could, and the Loki, excuse me, from Blackout. So no more Ultron, no more playing around. I think this could be a little bit more of a stable comp that Penn Trafford can definitely work towards here in their attack phase. Doors open, we swing through ideally, and let's see how they can attack these defenders.
Penn Trafford backs against the wall. Match point, series point. This is exactly where they need to make their marks within the PIA 2025-2026 school year fall season, as without this win, I believe playoffs might be off the table for this team. If they go in, Penn Trafford instantaneously taken off the line as South Fayette makes a tremendous start to this map.
They sure will. They're going to retreat here, go a tactical retreat, if you will. Go back to the spawn area, try to force on some cooldowns. The dive used early on by the Venom here. Jake tries to walk on that, so does Chaoticness, trying to punish the Personers for even trying to be in that spawn area for a little bit too long. However, we do get out relatively scot-free. There is more pressure being put onto the Venom as we see here. Fade used early from Chaoticness, only has one left as well. Either way, Penn Trafford looking to just find something. You know, no flip on the Star-Lord, can't really negate it, can't really punish anything going on here.
First Penn Trafford loading up an aggressive spot as they are already taken aback, as it will be Patrick taken down for South Fayette. Keep up this pressure. We see another kill going in as the Daredevil falls to a crisp as South Fayette keeps another team fight going their way.
Jeff going to draw his theme there, but in the back area you see the Wolverine starting to try to get a kidnap of some sort, but these characters that South Fayette are playing are relatively evasive. You have Cloak Fade, you also have the Star-Lord Kickflip, you also have the Jeff Barry, you have Rocket's Dashes, Storm herself in the air. It's very difficult to pin down a target for any of these people to be kidnapped by Patrick, which is why you're seeing them get off of the Wolverine, go over to Ultron instead. But behind their noses, they're kind of forgetting the point is the name of the game in Marvel Rivals, and they've already allowed these guys to get one tick on the board here and a half, now dwindling back down to just one measly old tick.
Going to be able to find another death. That is a lovely Patrick taken down. Minute 40 as we see the Jeff ult coming into action, investing heavily. Going to be on the Star-Lord to get one as the fall going in, taking the blackout with them as Jake's down. And it's going to be Penn Trafford with another regroup necessary in order to be able to get much done. But they almost did as they secured 2 ticks. Looking like this might just be their game to take.
Personers also end up using the Feast of the Abyss during that, trying to stay in that spawn area, and that does help a little bit with the kill onto Chaoticness again. But we have 3 big ultimates ready for Penn Trafford. Same thing, Song and Dance with South Fayette. Unfortunately, not going to really take on this version. Feast of the Abyss comes through, the 40% damage, healing reduction is locked onto the Rocket player. But, I mean, everyone is converging on that one target, and we're trying to see the Omega Storm come through from both of these storms. What's going to happen with Blackout versus Punk Boss? Gonna be Blackout getting 2 here, Jerry, and does get shut down by the mirror match.
But look at that, it will be the Chaoticness to take it back. Penn Trafford on the verge of taking this back into their own hands when it matters most. This roster brings it into fruition as Penn Trafford secures the first point.
Yeah, they did kind of ult them a little bit there, but you know what? You might as well at the last like minute and a half, right, of the objective. So really well done, and you can already see that Chaoticness is already 35% to another reality erasure, which is gonna be so good. Lucy, not Lucy, excuse me. We have Patrick going over to the Hela. as well. Should be able to put a lot of that spam pressure onto the back line. Chaoticness is just getting so many free pressure, free value on this Scarlet Witch by just making sure these people who are walking too far up are getting shut down over and over and over again. The cart is moving somewhat briskly through the first objective or second objective, and it looks relatively well for Penn Trafford. Also coming up on the Gods of Death and the It's Jeff, two pretty big ultimates right now that should send South Fayette back into their spawn area relatively soon.
Imagine Lord Team Penn Trafford able to make a miracle happen. This time they go again, but the Jeff Bolt's going to be investing heavily into the fight, as it will be the kill, the Jeff on Jeff action. Bubbles go into their head as it will be collapsing. Penn Trafford activating the Hell ult, trying to make something done and dusted. But as we look towards South Fayette, just still playing such a strong game. Oh.
Unfortunate.
Very
unfortunate. Just kind of procced in a very tightness spot, and you can't see anybody from that little off hallway there. So that, again, South Fayette has regained their defenses. They also have the cart in their favor, so let's start pushing back. Jake comes in for a little bit of a touch, but I mean, without resources, without a swing, without a dive, without even the shields, you're dead there.
Certainly seeming as if this game will be down for Penn Trafford, as we only have 57 seconds left, as LaFall taking a double kill. The Personers as well going in hand, bringing this game down as the curtains close. South Fayette bring this to last fight territory for Penn Trafford.
Last fight, my rocket. Last fight territory indeed here. They only have 35 seconds left, and they again have the same two ultimates of the duplicate and the reality erasure. This is me really good. If we get another blackout duplicate onto Punkbot and we get at least 3 in this fight, that would be a fight win. But you can see how far this objective is from completion of point B. That's gonna be the big kicker for Penn Trafford, is winning this fight and taking this fight all the way over to the second point. Pretty this duplicate comes out, tries to go for the Cloak and Dagger, but there's the Eternal Bond I was looking for.
We're going to be seeing Penn Trafford, last fight territory, 21 second remain, and it will be looking good. The Chaoticness doing it again, but it will not be for long as Punk going in, triple kill, quadra kill, penta kill. Coming in, Penn Trafford gets the door slammed on them as it's a dominant South Fayette series. Penn Trafford showing signs of life towards the end, able to bring it back for at least a couple moments, but in the end, South Fayette High School reigns supreme.
A 2-0 victory yet again. Very well done. A little bit more competitive this time, even though we did have a 5v6. The reality erasure was so good from Chaoticness, but at that point, there was nothing from South Fayette, blocking them from using their own Goddess of Death, the Omega Storm. Goddess of Death, whoa. The Omega Storm just came in from Punkbot, found so much value, and somehow, even though Punkbot got not only 38 and 2, also had 26 final hits, the MVP goes to our Jeff, funnily enough. So that's always, MVP system. Thank you so very much. But otherwise, very, very good series in either way, from not just this one, but also our previous series. Big shout outs to our high schoolers for even coming out and playing and being in the season for this long. It's a big commitment, especially with everything else ideally going on during high school. So big kudos to all of our players, all of our staff that also help our high schoolers even be able to compete in esports at such a young age. So again, super well done from everyone that was able to play today and throughout all the weeks of PIEA. But Cherry, that is week 5. Week 6 approaches next week, and that's the last week of the regular season.
It is almost getting to playoff time. Unfortunately, Penn Trafford may not have the score round differential that they need to be able to get there, but as we know, one winner, one loser within the game of Marvel Rivals, and that gives the South Fayette roster that chance for that high placement in playoffs. Gonna be looking for that LAN event coveted by all. Penn Trafford, unfortunately, going down in the 5v6, a tragic ending, but it is certainly seeming as if they will have that iterations to come back, because we saw some players showing signs of life, showing dominance throughout this series. So South Fayette better be on their toes, because Penn Trafford's improving at an extra central rate, and it certainly seems as if those Jejune plays that they were making previously, they're all gone. and they're going to be going in with explosive capability coming on through. Matneva, I think that's it. You got anything left before we head out?
Just a humble follow to the esports company Twitch and all of their PIEA Twitch channels, as well as this one and all of the others. There's more action happening, not just later today, but also throughout the rest of the week. There's Rivals happening on PIEA 2. If you want to see some more Rivals action, I believe there's even some Fortnite action happening. I think that's Fortnite. Fortnite action happening on the main channel of the esports company as well. And of course, more and more happening all throughout the week for PIEA and the general esports company productions. Big shout out to, of course, Echo for producing and observing. Big shout out to Nick for always kind of figuring out what's going on. My man always, he really deserves a shout out. Like, we love Nick in this house. Thank you so much, our, of course, wonderful production director, Nick. So that being said, Cherry, thank you so much for filling in and casting with me, covering these two phenomenal games. But otherwise, that's all we have for the day. We'll see you guys later today and throughout the rest of the week for some more action on the TEC Esports Company channels.